Hi everybody, welcome to an all-new episode of the KMS Quick Shots. My name is Flo, and today is also the craziest time zone meeting ever because we're spanning from LA to Germany to Sydney. So my guests at this time are Amanda Stewart and Sarah deCourcy, the duo better known as 2FRONTIER. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey Flo, good. Thanks for having us.
Perfect, thank you for being here. So let's dive right in, shall we? I want to know how you guys did meet back then. When was 2FRONTIER born?
So I'll let Amanda take this one. Yeah, well, 2FRONTIER was born when pretty much Sarah got back to me and said, I'm going to do this. What a song. So I sent her a song. I had, a pretty good bare bones of a song, Warrior. And I had the vision of making it as an epic trailer song. And I contacted a friend who I'd met when I was in LA early 2020, just before COVID hit the States, and called him and said, hey, I've got this song and I would love to get it produced by, someone who does trailers all the time, who does cinematic music all the time. And he, without blinking an eye, he in one breath said, Sarah. And I went, awesome, send me her name, send me her details. And he did. And I think within an hour, Sarah said, hey, let's talk. So it was just a really, fortunate time also that I think COVID, it was around June 2020. And I think, LA was along with America, was in the grip of COVID. And so I think she had some time. So I was lucky she had some time on her hands. So so that's how we met. I just contacted her, showed her the song. She loved it. And we went from there.
So Sarah, you are the producer of the songs?
Yeah. So the songs kind of start with Amanda. We jumped on a call to discuss, okay, we've got this one song. Let's maybe do like 4 or 5, or let's just keep it going. Let's just not do one, kind of like, so the ideas and the storytelling would start with Amanda, and she would send over her ideas to me. And then we would discuss, okay, I hear it going in this direction with violins, or I hear it with very synth sound design, big, like stronger sounds. And we'd kind of go through a discussion process of where we both see the story going. And then Amanda would then go away again and draft maybe a version 2 after we've discussed where it's going to go, or maybe it worked exactly as it was. Then once the song got to me, I would then work on how I would build like the music around it. So maybe there's some moving around of the song just to get it to work in a cinematic context. And then we jump on another call and be discussing who we want to tell the story. What singer do we want to reach out to? Who do we think's gonna be able to really identify with the tracks that we've made? So the singer choices were quite specific, like finding very cool, interesting people to sing. And then once we recorded the vocals, which kind of happened all over the world, actually. Yeah. It happened in Australia, in LA, in Denmark, in, everywhere. And they come back to me, and then I'd finish the music with the vocalist singing the song. And then it would head off to mix and master. So it's kind of very much a group effort, but we all kind of had our little pockets of creativity where we got to stretch our legs a bit and try some things out, and then sort of come and meet in the middle. But it was a really cool process. And I think, like you said about the lockdown, has kind of been a bit restricted. It was quite interesting. I think we probably did things we wouldn't have done if we were in the same room, and etc. So yeah, that
would be the next question for Amanda, because when you were searching for someone to work with, how did it come that you were recommended Sarah and not, I don't know, a guy down the street from where you live?
Yeah, good question. Well, I did pursue some Aussie producers, and I just didn't feel comfortable that they could give me the big sound that I needed for Warrior. And so when I say I contacted a friend, I probably gave a little bit too much latitude there. It was a music supervisor who I met in LA, and I pretty much was in contact with him for quite a bit before I called him. And I was sort of going, okay, I haven't really reached out to LA producers before especially in lockdown, because I'm so used to just going over there and doing it in person. That's what I would normally do. And so doing it long distance was a new experience for me too. So when he said, so I just called him going, hey, look, I'm wanting, I don't want just anyone. I want someone who actually does this for a living. They do cinematic, and that's where, so it was very specific. It was a very targeted, focused look for somebody. And so, yeah. And then when I checked out Sarah's bio and her website, which is awesome, and what she's done, I just went, absolutely, I hope she says yes. And I was very fortunate that she said yes. So it was, it was just felt like a great fit. And when we continued to talk and had the discussion around the whole EP, I just went, yeah, absolutely, that'd be amazing. So yeah, I think timing was just right. I agree with Sarah. If it wasn't COVID, it may not have happened. So
I think I just finished a project with the supervisor who you spoke with. I think maybe it was like 4 months before. I just completed a trailer, which was like a song that they'd had on their books, and they wanted me to rework and turn it into a big trailer track with recorded orchestra and drums and everything. And so I think it was, again, it's like the timing. I just completed that project with him, and then you walk in and look for someone who can do that. And yeah, so it's kind of interesting how those things, well, the timing of everything just kind of
100%.
How we
it was great.
So both of you are full-time musicians, is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you think, maybe that's a tough question, but do you think that working over the internet and not sitting in a room together and developing ideas together face to face, do you think it has also an advantage, or are there mainly disadvantages because you just cannot transmit the feeling while sitting next to each other?
For me as a songwriter, I've learnt to let go of the production. I've really worked hard because I love getting in the studio. I love being part of the process of creating. I'm a musician as well, so I play, but I've learnt over the years to let go and let the producer do his or her thing, and just because they've got a great lane and they're good at what they do. I find if I impinge in that and just things start to go a bit pear-shaped. So from experience, I've learned to step back and let the producer be a producer. And I'm, as the songwriter, go, I give my thoughts about references and what I sort of hear. But at the end of the day, it's the producer who does the producing, and I have learned to let them do that. So it was, a new experience doing it over, long distance. And sure, it took a lot longer than you would normally if you're in the studio. You get 5 songs done in a week, or 7 days or so or thereabouts. But it took months for us to get 4 songs done. But it goes with the territory, and I just accepted that I had to be patient. And there was this cool transaction that probably wasn't said, but I trusted Sarah. And we knew we had an agreement. We said, hey, let's do this. And we stuck to our word. And that was the cool thing about it. And I think that's what got me through, because I went, I trust Sarah to do what she said she's going to do. And she did it amazingly. So, it was great. So I just stayed out of her lane and let her do her thing.
So this would be a question for Sarah. So there's this woman approaching you and say, hey, I got an awesome idea. I just got up this morning and there it was, a cinematic, intense, energetic.
I wish that's how it happened.
No, oh, it didn't. Okay, then let's pull back this question and ask first, Amanda, how did that happen?
Well, it's a process. Writing a song is a process. Especially when, I write a song a day, you've got to at least, you've got to get in the discipline of writing the song. So I make a decision. I'm going to write a song about a warrior. I'm going to write a song about this, and you work at it. And look, fortunately with Warrior, it did come easy. It wasn't that difficult. I mean, not every song is like that. And so it took a day to pretty much finish the idea, and then a few weeks to just finesse it. And, you know, after many, many drafts, you know, a song has many, many drafts before it's finished. And then you give it to the producer, and then they want to, you know, do something. And I'm like, okay. So it's a big process. And I don't, you know, I've also, as a songwriter, not become so precious with every song. You know, I once I give it away, it's gone, and I let the producer again, or the arranger, or the other songwriter, sometimes it's a larger collaboration, put in their special magic as well. So you have to just let it go. For me, I've learned to let it go and let whoever I'm working with, you know, do their thing. And that's the beauty of the collaboration, that everyone has, you know, a part to play, and their part is really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, then back to the initial question. So once you get pitched the song, Sarah, is it a natural thing for you to just come up with ideas to add and to make it feel wholesome, or is it a work that might get down the drain because you're sitting there for hours and thinking, oh, what can I do there? Oh, I cannot do anything, so give it back. And
I think it's all of those things.
okay.
So when we start, I think we just had Warrior, and I think Amanda had started working on Legend, I think, when we started working on the EP, getting this together. And when I first got Warrior, I think initially I was like, hey, how precious are we on these songs? And Amanda was like, go for it, do your thing. And I think with that one, that Warrior particularly, that one came quite quickly. As far as I could see the story, and I could hear how I really wanted that to go. I wanted it to have this very strong bass end to the track, very strong sound design element, but like a softer tone with the strings and with the kind of less tough beats and percussion like coming in. So it's kind of a mixture of a kind of female warrior story of the light and dark, the soft and tough, you know, this kind of thing. That one came quite quickly, but there were tracks where Amanda would email me and she's like, how's it going? I'm like, oh, I did one, but I've scrapped it. I'm doing another one. So, and I think that happened with Legend and Hero. I think I did those a few times thinking, is this where I wanted to go? But, you know, also just being comfortable in yourself, like within myself, to know, I don't think this is what I want to say, and being comfortable enough to just say, oh, I'm going to start again. And I know when to stop pushing an idea because I don't think it's right. And also, you know, a lot of the time I've taken the pressure off maybe not getting it right the first time. I think it's just, I just have to start. If I'm not sure where I'm going to go, I'll just start. And if it's not right, at least I know that's one idea that I'm not going to do. And then you kind of like, you kind of like, you're kind of taking away the possibilities of where I could go to the point where you can find where you're going. So it's not always super clear where I'm going to head, but I just start creating and I'll get there in the end. But yeah, we definitely had a few drafts. Oh, I don't think they got as far as Amanda, actually. I think they just remained in my studio. But you know, obviously the end versions that we have are exactly where they need to be, and we're super happy. But yeah, it's a process for sure.
Did you ever reject a track or an idea? Completely?
I was about to say, the interesting thing that I got to know about Sarah was when there were crickets, I knew that wasn't the song. So, you know,
yeah.
So I sent her 2 other songs that, you know, didn't make the cut. So, and that's cool. I love that. You know, I'd rather her be honest. I mean, honesty is the best. If you want a great track, you've got to say, hey, do it again, try again. And if the first one doesn't go, or if the second or if the 5th one doesn't fly, you know, keep going. And that's, I think for me as a songwriter, you just got to keep writing and not, because your first song is usually not the greatest song. You know, you've got to write lots of songs. And so, you know,
now you had this idea from the Warrior main theme with the intensity, the energy, and the instrumental alone gives me goosebumps. But what made you actually add the vocals, which are adding even more energy and more cutting through power? So was this the initial idea when you created the song, or did the vocals come afterwards?
Look, Sarah said, look, we need an amazing singer. I mean, when I did the demo vocal guide, it was hard me doing it. So that vocal is a big vocal, and it's a big note to get into all the time. So to get the right singer, so I auditioned very casually. So it wasn't it was very informal. It wasn't a full-on process, but I just had a few singers who I asked to do a really informal audition for me, and I sent them through to Sarah. I can't remember if there was 2 or 3. I think there was only 2 at the time. 3.
Might have been 3 in the end, but, but yeah.
And so we just decided on one who just nailed that top note straight away in her, in her lounge room. And I'm like, hello, she was really great. And now she turns out to be, I mean, we know she's an amazing talent and she's got an awesome voice, but now she's one of Australia's hottest new talents rising up through The Voice. So she's very, I mean, after her first blind audition, she's massive. Just her socials are going off the roof, through the roof and off the Richter, like there. So she's very, very good, and she can do so many tricks, and the acrobatics that she has is cool. And we didn't use those in our songs. We're quite straight, and we did that for a reason. Especially when we're pitching for sync, we want it to be very, just
clear and straightforward. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But Bella Taylor-Smith is just, amazing and extremely talented. So I think we'll hear more of Bella, certainly.
What I loved about Bella's voice as well is it's so powerful, but it sounds so gentle at the same time. And I think that's why it worked for Warrior, because she's got a very soft, very feminine tone, but she can really give it something like
she can belt it.
So, and I think
I noticed,
and that's why, and she's the vocalist on Legend as well, and I think that's what appealed, especially from my point of view, and I certainly know we've discussed it many times, that the strength, but the kind of gentle side to her vocal just really, really worked well on the 2 songs that she sang on the record. And I think she definitely adds, she's bringing that character to life.
That's what really made this song so special for me, because she starts vulnerable, fragile. She's lost and lonely in a dark white scenario, and all of a sudden, boom! And my eyebrows were like, both eyebrows.
I know, it's amazing, and just receiving these vocals recorded in a studio in Sydney, was it?
Yeah.
And Legend and Warrior, I think 2 different studios, but just receiving the before I've even working on bringing the vocals into the track, you're just receiving those stems of just her just many takes in the day that she's doing of the song. It's every time she's reaching a place that she needs to reach, like emotionally and vocally. She's just incredible, and I'm super proud to see that she's doing so well, and that finally people are hearing what she can do. And obviously we're really stoked to have her on the album.
I guess every time, as well as with you 2 guys, you need a connection, and this connection is actually the magic that glues together a great song, because everyone has to be in the right place at this time. So it doesn't matter if it's the vocalist or this or the drummer or some other guy. Everyone has to feel it, and that's what the question before was aiming at, because the feel, the vibe is, in my experience, rather present in one room, when guys can look at each other and say, "Oh, that's it," without saying the words, but feeling it. And I guess it's awesome that we have the tools to do this online, but I also think it might be really hard for musicians and producers alike to form those ideas as if nothing ever happened and as if the guys were meeting in the studio. So
yeah, it does get hard. I think obviously I was, you know, super sad that I couldn't be there when the vocals were recorded as well, because I'd love to have been a part of just kind of being there on the day and kind of helping, you know, bring the room together with the story, and, you know, just being a big part of that would have been awesome. So I think it is a shame that we couldn't do that side of things, but we're kind of really lucky that we've worked with so many talented singers that they've managed to find a way from, you know, Zoom calls with Amanda and Zoom calls with me to get to those places where they can get their mind to that point where they can perform as if we're all in there discussing it and we're all pushing out the energy, you know. So we've been really lucky with that. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think there is an element also of, hey, we know that each of us have our thing. We can do our thing, you know. And so with the vocalists, we knew they were good anyway, so they didn't need much direction. And with Bella, you know, certainly we gave us some vision to try and inspire her for the warrior attitude that we wanted her to have, but it really didn't take much. She knew where it needed to go.
Yeah.
And that's where we're very fortunate to have found her, because she knew exactly what to do. There wasn't too much, in fact, if any, coaching. She was on it. So, and hence I was lucky to find her when she wasn't discovered as she just is now. So I loved the process. I loved working with Bella and the other vocalists, even though I wasn't in the room for, you know, Kink and Katie. They're brilliant vocalists on Crazy and Hero. And so it was just a great time, just a great opportunity also to work with them. So it was awesome.
So when you create new songs, is there any linear working schedule you use, like writing something down or starting with the piano or something like this, or is this a floating kind of thing?
Oh, look, for me, when I write, I always start with a guitar. I do play piano, but at the moment I don't have a piano in the house, so I am a guitarist 100% at the moment. So yeah, everything's on the guitar, and I then sometimes if I've got an idea, I will then go to my piano and maybe play it there if I need to, but usually not. I will demo everything on a guitar and then, you know, send it to the producer and see what they say. So that's always my test. There are a few more filters before I send it to a producer. You know, the producer's never the first person who's ever heard it. I always go through my little chain of filters to see if it stands and if it flies. But yeah, I pretty much start everything on the guitar. It's probably different for Sarah. She's much more of a multi-instrumentalist than I am. So she's.
I don't know. I mean, kind of the same. I think I used to start like writing down lyrics. But then I think when I made a record with a French artist called Christophe Willem, and that's actually when it forced me to kind of focus at the start more on just melody and instrumentation, simply because the whole album was going to be translated. so I was like, oh wow, usually you kind of write down a few ideas. So you'd have like a lyric, little you know, kind of section of the song that you're aiming to get to, or story that you're aiming to get to. And then when I was working with the French artist, it was like, okay, well, what's the topic? And then let's build, you know, strong melody and chord progressions. And that kind of flipped it for me a little bit. And you know, I'm very grateful that I got to be pushed into trying a different way to do it, because it kind of opens up a new way of writing that you may not have done if you're restricted to word shapes or syllables, or if you're restricted to whatever. So, and I say I'll probably now start more with melody and a topic, maybe just start on the piano, just fleshing out some ideas, and then turn to myself, the producer, and see what else I would do with them. No, it was really nice when
As you do.
It's really nice when I can send it to someone else. I don't use all of the songs I've written, but yeah, I know that when the two of us worked on this EP, I think, was it Crazy with the one where we that was the one where we started talking about it'd be great to have a song. Yeah.
Emotional idea.
Yeah,
An
and
emotional song.
So with that one, it was like, okay, let's not do one with, you know, like bang, bang, bang. Let's do one that's very intimate about somebody who's just, you know, really struggling with a lot of things. And, you know, I chose like a singular violin as doing some crazy acrobatic, you know, arpeggios on the violin, as if this sort of voice in your head, you're going crazy and you don't want to be. And yeah, so that was interesting. So that kind of started as just a conversation. And then we took, you said, I'm going to be using the word crazy and we're going to work around that. And then you kind of sent the draft over to me, and yeah. So,
and you know, that song for me took at least 3 demos before I even got to Sarah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember you were like, oh, I have it next week, and then you were like, oh no, I don't have it yet.
It took a while. Yeah.
So
and then
I did that.
Hands up, who's a perfectionist?
Oh, both of us.
Yeah. Especially when I'm working with Sarah, you know, you've got to, you know, because I think for me, every producer is different. And look, I think it's great working with many different producers, but, you know, I found with Sarah, there was quite an ease to it, because she said, you know, I'll go when I've got my idea, you know, but until I've got the idea, you know, I'll let you know, don't call me, I'll call you, sort of thing. You know, it's, and I understood that. Yeah, I understood, and it's cool.
Just don't put the pressure on. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think that comes from just, I hate having to email someone back and say it's not there yet, you know? And I think that's more the thing of like, if I'm reminding myself that I'm not there yet, and then I have to tell you that I'm not, like, it like adds this stress. So it's like, when I hit it, I'll let you know, and then it'll probably be like a couple of days after that. Yeah, totally. But it's the same for you, you know, I let you just keep going until your song was ready, and then you wanted to send it over. And I think
these are Sarah's crickets you mentioned, Amanda.
yeah. Sarah's crickets.
I think it's kind of what was good about the relationship as well is very quickly from the moment we met, which we've never met even in person. There was a kind of understanding of our work process. And I know that when you team up with people in a creative environment, it takes a while to find a comfortable flow and a comfortable kind of language that you can all understand about how you work creatively, because everybody's different. And I think we managed to get that flow quite quickly and understand what each other needed to get to where we needed to be to get to the finished product. And I think that we're really fortunate with that. I think it's not always,
and that's how the well-rounded EP happened, because it's not just a couple of songs thrown together and gift wrapped, but it's more like who you, I'd say who you are as the duo, because there's a red line going through the songs. It doesn't matter if it's more emotional or more energetic. It's always a certain energy or a certain connection there.
Intensity.
Yeah, thank you. that's the word I was looking for. Yeah,
an emotional thread for sure.
This woman that we've created, being Warrior, right throughout the songs, there's definitely, and I think we definitely wanted that. And certainly in my references that I sent to Sarah, there was an intensity. There was even a bit of a darkness, but still intensity, that she's strong yet fragile. And so we sort of knew that from the get-go. We want her to be like one person, but expressed in many different ways. And we really wanted it to be a woman. In fact, that's what we have focused on, you know, bringing a company of women together to not just, you know, show off female power and just her being, you know, I am woman, but just really bringing women together to produce great music, because there's not lots of female groups in the trailer cinematic thing. And we really wanted to make it all female. And
so the collective was an intentional thing to look for a group of women to stand their ground amongst all others.
Well, for female artists, for female singers, that was intentional, 100%. We didn't even consider a male vocalist. As much as I love our male vocals, and who knows, in the future that could be something we do, but at the end of the day, we really, for this one, and I certainly would like for the next few, we want to, I want it to be female focused and female based, because there's not a lot of that in the industry. And that was something that we set from the get-go. Let's be, you know, two females going forward and paving a new frontier in the trailer cinematic thing, because there's not many of us doing it in the cinematic pop trailer genre. So that was really from the beginning what we said.
Yeah, there really isn't many females in, you know, even not just a trailer song, just like trailer instrumentals, just any form of trailer music. And I'm, you know, I do it a lot. And yeah, I think I'm very in the very small percentage of you know, sometimes editors like jumping on a Zoom call because they've been working with my track, and they're like, oh, you're a woman. They're just like, what do you even know? Like, no, we're working with a female composer, you know. And you know, and I'm absolutely fine with that, in the sense of, like, obviously because it is very unusual, I understand. But I think that that's what we
shouldn't be this way. I think, yeah.
But also, I don't think that to kind of balance that out as well. And I speak to a lot of female friends of mine in the music industry. They are also not considering it as a line of you know, creative opportunity or work, simply because it's saturated with men, so they don't see it as even an option. So I think that's where we need to start changing it, because, you know, you can't hire any women if there are no women doing it as well, you know. So it's like, so their thing is like, well, we just can't find any. so my thing is, you know, getting the word out, and that I feel like that's what we're doing with this EP, getting the word out that you know, you can do it as well. Like,
so besides tagging it as the female collective, like I read on Spotify, I guess, do you do active work to present this as a female driven project? Like, I don't know, charity events or press conferences or something like this?
I mean, I think it's been something that we've discussed, like it'd be great to get involved in like the She Is music and the Women in Music and this stuff that we follow on Instagram. And obviously that's something that we definitely want to pursue. I think literally right now we're just like, the release is out and we're trying to get it out to as many people as possible. And I think for sure, I think it'd be a really nice sort of next step to shine a light on the possibilities of females looking into this genre and this type of creative outlet, you know, and that it is possible and that people are looking to hire you and they are looking for this kind of music. So yeah, I definitely think it is on the it's out there. Yeah,
we certainly, for next steps, I'm certainly looking for opportunities to promote 2FRONTIER as a female collective, and that's always what we've said. But yeah, the next steps is to look at getting, you know, to talk about it more with more people, and I think it's just a matter of timing, you know, just, you know, juggling everything else that we're doing. But yeah, that is definitely our goal, and we're definitely open to speaking to more people about what we do, because I think what we've done is pretty cool. I think I know the music is niche, but at the same time it's just a great set of songs, you know, and I think the sound is awesome.
Yeah,
and the singers are
already
phenomenal.
We already have too much of these happy radio-friendly poppy songs out there. So
Yeah.
I'm not really thinking of the music as being niche, but something we need to create diversity in the whole music scene. So
exactly, yeah.
So with the Warrior EP just released, what are the plans for the near future then?
Look, I think the plans are, so we just need to get it out there. So we need to promote it a lot more, and I'm working on that. I know Sarah's too. And so it's just, I think for us, we need to get it out there, and our hopes, and certainly the goal is also to get it synced. You know, we are into, you know, writing music for TV and advertising as well. But at the end of the day, we're into writing great music, you know, for radio, for anybody. It's just about making, you know, good songs. You know, I don't want to be about releasing, you know, mediocre songs. It's about releasing top-notch, great songs. And that's I think, to me, it's a given. So yeah, next steps for us is we just need to promote it. I was actually just thinking the other day, in fact, I just spoke to somebody someone who's quite heavily, quite a big influencer in the Australian market, and she actually said Warrior would probably be great in Europe. Just looking at the trends in Australia, as you said, it is very, you know, nicely packaged, nice pop songs. But in saying that, we just won an Australian national competition, Australian Songwriting Conference competition. Yeah, with Warrior. So people love the song. We just got to get it out there. So it's just a matter of finding those right channels. Because you're always going to have somebody say, hey, it's not the top 40. I'm like, yeah, we know that. It's not this or that. So it's just a matter of getting the right channels and promoting it to the right people.
And I think like you said as well about the diversity as well, and just having sort of a wider map of music to explore. And I think that I'd definitely say that right now, you know, there are people out there who I think would really love what we're doing and really love to be a part of it, you know, even taking it live one day, who knows, you know, it could be an amazing thing. But the thing is, you know, getting it out there to the right audience, like you say, to the people who will respond, you know, from people who love film scores to people who love soundtracks for video games to, you know, people who love action movies, who knows, you know, they love Tomb Raider or something, you know. It's kind of like this audience that we're now kind of trying to get out there and reach those people and say, hey, you know, there's so much music released every day. It's obviously really, it's a fight now to kind of get to the top of that pile. But, you know, I think we'll do it, and I think we'll reach those people. And I think, like you say, we know like a quick way to kind of get to those people is to get one of the songs placed in, you know, in a film or a trailer where we immediately have like a really big audience, which would be amazing. So, you know, we're working really hard now to get the EP out to as many supervisors as possible and say, hey, you know, this could sound great in your film or in your game. So, you know, like anyone who's releasing music right now, it's really hard to pop out and be seen, but you know, it's just every day, just get at it every day and send it to as many people as you can. So
we are talking self-promotion. You don't pay a shitload of money to some company to do the work for you.
We're doing a lot of self-promotion right now. We were looking into that, I think, at the beginning, but you know, it might be something that we do down the road because it is very competitive out there and we might need that extra push. But I think like organically right now, you know, it's out with some supervisors, people are discovering it, and we knew this was not going to be sort of like 2 weeks and we're a success, you know, because it's not really that kind of project. And plus we want it to be a project of like value and long-term kind of a build where it's sustainable and we can build a fan base and keep making albums over the next 5 to 10 years would be amazing. And I don't think those things happen overnight. So I think it's a case of like yourself discovering it, then someone else discovering it, and someone else. And then if we just keep doing what we're doing best we can, then you know, one day you'll hear it in a Bond movie, who knows? Yeah,
and
Hey,
that's your big audience. Yeah,
that's the goal. Yeah, just one hero in a Bond movie. That's how I've always said.
well, yeah, 100%. And it's possible. Like Sarah, I believe in it as well. I believe that we can make it to a Bond movie, and it's certainly the quality is there. And so I think a day at a time. And like Sarah said, it's a long game. And as much as sure, it'd be awesome to have something picked up now. And not saying it won't be, you know, it very well could be, but at the same time, I have the mentality and the mindset that it's a long game and it's a marathon we're running. And, you know, this is not the only songs that we're going to do, you know, there's going to be more. And it just takes, so I have a long-term vision, and I think Sarah does too, about what we do, and that it's not just one thing. But we do need these to get out there, and that's what we are working on now.
Yeah.
And look, whether we get, sorry.
I guess you guys are both long enough in the business to not think about a song and say, why doesn't everybody just love this song I just made in my bedroom at 11 p.m.?
I know, we all think that. No, that's crazy. We all think that. We just don't tell anyone we think that.
We still have those hopes and dreams, that's right.
Totally. Why isn't everyone buying our EP? God damn it, no.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, totally. It's number 1 already. This is crazy. It's not number 1. No, I totally. It's definitely something where if we just keep doing what we love and just make sure that people hear it and love it and keep getting it to all the right pairs of ears and all the right camps of, you know, even music press, just people who will be kind of interested in not only the content we've made, but the kind of story behind it and the kind of, yeah, exactly, like yourself. And just getting that out there. And if that's what we have to keep doing, then that's what we'll keep doing.
Yeah, I have no doubt that if you continue to work on songs like these, which are standing out before others by a long shot, because it's just not one thing that makes you raise one eyebrow, but two. So there's no doubt that you will get there. I'm sure of that.
And that's why we appreciate you too, Flo, because you have, you know, you've not only lifted our spirits by wanting to talk to us, which is really fantastic and really cool, but, you know, we appreciate others talking about it. We appreciate you listening to it and loving it and talking about it. So thank you so much for that. I know I really appreciate it, because I know I've sent it to lots of people, and we get it that people don't always respond, but when they do, we're so fortunate and so thankful about it. So thank you, Flo. It's
my pleasure. Absolutely.
It's a big deal. We really appreciate it.
So guys, Amanda, Sarah, thank you very much for meeting me tonight, today, and this morning.
Tomorrow. I'm in your future.
Yeah. Oh, that's spooky. So
it's Wednesday over here.
Yeah, that's
okay. That is the future. So
it's all good, guys. It's going to be great.
Thank you very much for talking about your work. Guys, if you want to know more about 2FRONTIER, their work and their tracks, please check out the social handles you'll see at the end of the video. That's it for tonight. All I have to say is thanks for watching. Be safe. Bye.